Yes, I can't remember the name of the town, but I have a lady that has the trees in her backyard, and she gathers them in the fall and in the spring, and she sells them to me by the pound. And then I dye them. I soak them in glycerin first, like 1 or 2 cups of glycerin for a big turkey cooker is
Okay.
what I have. And I let that cook all day, and then I let it set in that water all night. And then I take them out, and leave them plain, or I leave them in and I add dye and some salt, and I cook them some more. And then I let them dry for several days and make sure they're good and dry, and then I bundle them like I am here.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. This is artificial sinew, and it comes in a roll like this. And I also use waxed linen thread, and I have some of that in the. I kind of change back and forth, use different colors. When I'm coiling, though, I like to use the wax linen thread usually. And for coiling, you just wrap around and around. And I just keep breaking off the needles as they get too short or stick out, and just keep adding to it. So this will be a big basket.
Okay.
I'm going to add some different beads into it to kind of bring out the L in the middle. I'm going to have some reddish beads and some brown beads. And then I also do the pine needles around my rims of my baskets. And I also do my husband's deer antlers. And then I wood burn too on the gourds and the baskets. Let's see, I'll show this one. I would burn the center of that one.
Okay, the owl, you would burn that one?
Yes, and I also do my own ceramic centers most of the time. I've been going to the different pottery places and working with different people that are teaching me how to do that part too. I started out by doing farmers markets in Nebraska, and I'd set up every morning at 7:30 in my canopy, and people just kind of taught me how to do it by ordering things, giving me ideas of different things to do. And that. Oh, I had a lady from Seton, Nebraska, teach me.
Okay.
An older lady, and she teaches a lot. She teaches all over the Colorado, different places. But I don't know if she's still teaching. Her husband's a wood carver. Wood carvers and pine needle artists kind of go side by side usually. I just ran across her at a crafters camp one time, and I was doing gourds. At that time, I was painting on gourds and teaching that. And I was interested in the pine needles around the rim of my gourds. But then the baskets really took off more for me than the gourds did. So, and now I'll just keep working around until everything gets far apart, and then I'll start working up. So the basket kind of tells you what
to do.
Yes, it does. I don't really plan it. I try to plan ahead, but it never turns out that way.
Okay.
I'm going to pierce straight through, and in Arizona there's a cactus. I've never been to Arizona, but they say there's a cactus that looks like this, and that's what it's supposed to.
So do you ever think you're in the dentist office?
Yeah, that's what it just sounds horrible. And some gourds they call screamers because they just scream.
Yeah.
And then this part, I will use a leather dye, and I use a hot gun, a heat gun like what you use for making stationery and different cards and stuff, And I do that to dry it, and it soaks into the gourd, and it picks up all the, I don't know what you call the blemishes on the gourd.
Grain or whatever,
Yeah. And it looks like that when it's heat set. And I used to use different colors on the outside, kind of whatever I'm going to use for the center. Sometimes I just don't even use a center. I use all pine needles. And then sometimes on this part I'll use paint too, acrylic paints. So I use everything I've learned through the years. That's drilled out, and a lot of times I recess things and then glue them in like that. And then I may put an antler over this, or I may put some driftwood. I don't know, just whatever fits. Maybe I won't put anything, but I'll put pine needles. I've already drilled the holes for that.